Yeah.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. We got something special for you today on this gun wall review. Today we're taking a look at the Magnum Research 58E Desert Eagle. This one here, I believe a specific model on it, and I believe it's an older one also. I believe it's called the Mark 16 or something like that. Something like that. Mark something. It's the long barrel option for the Desert Eagle. This one has a 10-inch barrel on it. And I'll tell you what, this gun has some authority when you pull it out. It is extremely front heavy. So let's start out. Clear. Take it off. Safety. Close the hammer. It is a heavy gun. Heavy. This one's mounted with a red dot on it, but it does have fixed, well, not fixed, but they're dovetail iron sights that can be drifted for windage, but as long as you got them centered, they're good. So let's start out with a little bit on this gun here. First thing, this gun is not made for anyone with smaller hands. I say this because I have relatively small hands, and it is difficult to grip this gun and hold it with smaller hands and get a good... The trigger's in a good place. The trigger is actually perfect. But the width of the grip itself is kind of wide. It's not too fat, it's just the wideness, and it's hard to get a good grip. The recoil's not horribly bad, but it's bad considered to a lot of pistols. So let me give some context. That's 9mm. That is 45 ACP. That is 50 AE. If you want to look at the difference in just the boost right there. So generally, 9mm Luger, 9mm Parabellum is going to be around 100. I've seen them as low as 85 grain, all the way up to I think 173 and 175 grain, and that depends on the bullet itself. Around those, full metal jacket 45, you're normally going to be around 200, 250 grains on that. This 300 grains. There are some shotgun slugs you get that are around that weight. And that is a big bullet. So, let's give some context even further on how much power this pistol has. So, 45 ACP. I shot Hornady Custom ammunition for the Desert Eagle. Now this box, you can see, was $40 a box. 300 grain bullet, moving about 1475 foot per second. Now, before I give you the foot-pound energy on that one, the same brand, Hornady Custom, for the 45 ACP moves 900 foot per second and has 358 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. Now, the 50AE, moving a 300 grain bullet at 1475, puts out 1,450 pounds of muzzle energy. About pretty close to 3 times what the 45 ACP does, and that's some people consider this a knockdown bullet. Military used this in 1911s for half a century before they moved to the Berettas. And the Berettas are shooting 90mm Luger, and I think some select units still use the 1911. I think the Marines might still use it, but I think that's kind of their choice. But that was the knockdown energy for the military for a long time, through World War II up until, I think, Desert Storms. I think before Desert Storms, when they adopted the Beretta. But definitely through World War II, Korea, and into Vietnam, for pistol, that's what the military used. This massive knockdown. Now, other thing I forgot to mention, the difference between the 45 ACP and the 50 AE on price for the same load is almost double. The 45 ACP was 18 bucks when I just looked it up, compared to 40 bucks. So, and that's also going to depend on where you're buying it from. So, back to the gun itself. So now you know that this is a considerably powerful gun. Now, that, I don't know if that muzzle velocity is out of a 10-inch barrel like this one, or the 6-inch barrel on the regular one. So the muzzle energy out of this particular one might actually be higher than what's on that box due to the extra barrel length. Now, the reason why I said that this one here, I think, is a little older, I don't know when my buddy got it, because the modern one, the barrel on this long barrel is a little different, and it's got a more modern Picatinny rail on it with the slots in it. So that's a good thing for that, if you're buying a new one. Now, price point, this particular one, MSRP's for like $1,600, but right now, and this may be Black Friday deals, right now, I've got a couple places online, I found it for just over $1,200 for this pistol. Now, that is huge saving, you know, $1,200 to $1,600, you know, that's a lot of money difference. Now, what's interesting about this gun that I've always admired about it over other guns is, let me pull this slide back and see if I can't lock it. There we go. Is it's got a rotating bolt, not unlike an AR, with the extractor on it. So, if you look, this bolt actually rotates and locks in to lugs inside the barrel, a lot like an AR-15 and everything in the AR family. So you get a nice, good lockup, and I believe this is a it's a delayed blowback gas system. If you look right here in the bottom, you can see the piston right here, and it fits into a port. And then when I pull the barrel off again here in a second, show you a takedown, I'll show you how that works. So you got a port in the bottom of this barrel, and it releases gas, which hits this piston. It starts moving it back. Now, this isn't a short recoil system where the whole barrel moves. The barrel is fixed on here. So as it starts moving back, it causes, I assume there's a cam surface in here that rotates the lug free on the barrel and starts, breaks at least, and then starts to recoil. It stays locked up. That way, some of the pressure dissipates out the barrel before the slide starts moving back. If it didn't have a lockup, all the gas would just push this thing back and probably break the slide or break the bolt or break your face. And if you don't believe me, look on YouTube. There's plenty of videos of people bigger than me shooting this gun and whacking themselves in the face, which I always find hilarious, because here, me, such a small guy, shooting this pistol without too much problem, and there's some big guys knocking himself in the head with these. So, if you're inclined, go look those up, you get a good laugh out of that. Anyway, so let's break this down. So first of all, I gotta release the slide. And it does got a ambidextrous safety on it. Release the hammer. There's a pin right here. There's a pin right here. You push that pin in, and then it releases a lock on this lug here. And you gotta kind of hold it because it will shoot forward a little bit. Release that lock, and boom, the barrel comes forward. Comes loose out of the right there, and you got a little slot right there. You lift the barrel out, and there you go. That's broken down for field stripping. It actually, the carrying case I got, you carry it in two separate pieces like this. Now if you look here, you got this gas port right here, and there's just a little hole in the barrel. When the bullet gets to right here, the gas beneath it cycles the action. So this is a lot like, this is kind of like the way an AR operates, but you see right here, you got the gas piston right here on the slide. And it doesn't really move much on that. Now, I don't believe there's any other mechanism work going on right here besides just the piston being attached. I could be wrong. If you look, you got two recoil springs down there on guide rods, and they look like they're actually double spring recoil springs. This is the first time I've really gotten a chance to really look at the gun up close, but these things are just, for a pistol, they're complex, which usually complex pistols don't normally work so well, or don't get a lot of commercial success because they're so complex, a lot of things to break. But the Desert Eagle does well for itself just because, well, it's a Desert Eagle. Why wouldn't you want a pistol in 44 Magnum or 58E? Now they do also make a 357 Magnum version of this, which I would imagine for me probably would be a little easier to grip, but I don't know if the frame dimensions are any different. I imagine they probably just shim the magazine so the 357 Magnum fits it. But I actually think the 357 Magnum is about this, a little longer than this, so it's probably closer to 44 Magnum in length. So it probably won't be any easier for me to carry, but you might actually get more load in the magazine. This carries 7+1 in this gun. You see it's got a very common mag release right there. And on the magazine you got 4, 5, 6, 7, so you can actually count your bullets coming in. Now this does have a pretty stiff magazine spring in it. And of course when you got something that works like this, even though it is a slight delayed gas blowback system, I'm trying to see if you can see the bolt. I don't think you can see the bolt rotate. Let's take it all the way down. Let's take the slide off. Just like that. And you see these two guide rods. They mostly just sit right here. Got a little lug right here. I believe there's a cam. That's how you take that out. So this little notch sits right in here and locks in the gas piston. So we can see the bolt here. I don't know how to make that rotate without. Yeah, I don't know how to make that rotate. Anyways, so this is completely field stripped to clean, which actually isn't that complicated. I've seen guns that are a little more complicated than this to field strip. So let's put this back together. And you see, there's two holes in the frame right there. I don't know if you can see it. That's where those two springs have to line up. And that actually isn't too hard to get those to go in there and cooperate. Some guns are considerably harder than that to get to cooperate with you. And you see them completely compressed, and the two guide rods coming completely out. Now, because it is a gas piston system, down here inside of the frame of the gun and right here around the slide, you're going to get a lot of carbon buildup. So it is a good idea to keep these guns clean. Carbon is not your friend with any kind of gas piston system. So let's release that. Let's put this gun back together. So drop it right back in the lugs. And then back over here, you gotta push it back just a little and lock it in place. Alright. There it is. Actually, pretty neat system. It's not overly complicated, but it is complicated as far as pistols go. Like on my Polish P64, it's a simple blowback system, and it is simple as it comes. This here has a couple extra steps, but it works, and you know, that's what matters. And let's go to talking about use of this gun. Are you gonna carry this gun? Probably not. Let's be honest. As awesome as it would be to sling lead at a bad guy with that much muzzle velocity and that much muzzle energy, this gun is too big to carry. If you open carried it, yeah, that's great, but then you get the downside. Yes, you can deter a bad guy if they see your gun, but that also makes you the first target. You're probably not going to conceal carry this gun. Even, I believe they make a Baby Eagle short barrel version of it. I don't know much about that one, but that one you may be able to conceal carry, but then you lose the magnitude of this gun. And just to give you an idea, my P64 looks like a baby gun compared to this massive monster. So, for the price, do you want to buy this gun? If you've got the money to buy a gun that you're going to take to the range and wow your friends and possibly have dropped when one of them can't get a good grip on it, go for it. Now, one of the things that this gun would be good for, especially with the red dot, that I would use this gun for is hunting. You got a lot of energy from this thing. This has the same knockdown power as a lot of rifles. So this gun here would make a good hunting gun. And especially with it being a semi-auto pistol, an auto-loading pistol, that makes it very attractive because you can always get a follow-up shot. Kind of the same reason that this gun fits into the same category as the Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum, which there is going to be a video for eventually. I'm going to sacrifice my wrist for you guys. So, that is coming up, but this fits in that same category. It doesn't have any real purpose besides wowing some people at the gun range and possibly taking it hunting. Besides that, you're not going to carry it for self-defense purposes. It's not really logistically feasible. It's too big, too heavy. This thing weighs over 4 pounds. And the regular, well, this version here weighs over 4 pounds compared to like my P64, which weighs like 12 ounces. Less than a pound. So, you're not going to carry this thing. But if you have the money to spend on this thing and you want it, buy it. Because it all comes down to what you want. If you want a gun, sometimes it's okay to buy a gun just for the fact of wanting the gun. There's nothing wrong with just wanting a gun because you want it because it's cool. There's not a pistol cooler than this, as far as an autoloader. And some people may disagree. But it's still a cool gun. So, if I had the money to just blow and buy it, I'd buy one. Probably wouldn't shoot it that much, but I'd buy it. Just because, well, I mean, it's a Desert Eagle. Anyways. Let's see if there's anything I left out on this gun. Let me pull up the tech sheet here. See if there's anything I missed on it. Okay, so it's 4 pounds, 5.8 ounces. So, that's heavy. Almost 3-inch, 2.75 trigger reach. That's why I was saying that it's kind of comfortable just for me. The single action trigger pull is 4 pounds. They don't have... Oh, that's the single action. Yeah, 4 pounds for the single action. It's not a double action gun. Single action, but as far as autoloader, you're gonna rack this gun when you load your first round anyways. Or cock the hammer when you go to actually fire it. That's pretty much all the relevant data on it. It's up to you. I'm gonna post up the video. I did shoot 19 rounds through this gun, and I have to say, recoil's not horrible. My wrists aren't killing me. The glory of this gun when it comes to the recoil is, one, it's heavy, so that absorbs a lot of the recoil. Second, you got a pretty wide section here on the back grip that spreads out over the web of your hand pretty good, and it's got that dovetail on it, which is actually pretty nicely machined. Magnum Research, these guns are produced in Israel, I believe. Israel Military Industries, LDT. I think that's one of the legal names for Magnum Research, or this gun may predate that. I don't know how old this gun is. But man, their machining's, nice. Nothing's crudely machined. Everything's nice, fine fit and finish on it. The lines are great on it. This one here, it almost looks like the frame of it may be cast, but then finished up a little bit. It looks cast, and then blued, and then of course the slide looks like it was machined, and the barrel was obviously machined. But nice build quality on these guns. So if you want one, buy it. If I had the money, I'd buy one just to have it. It's a good gun. I like it. I'm definitely going to try to borrow it again sometime, do some more shooting. I have other videos planned. My buddy has more or less a extensive arsenal of guns that I have pretty much on loan whenever I need them. So I got some stuff coming up. Actually, I tell you what, how about y'all decide, if you want to, what I should check out next. The 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, I believe he has a Marlin lever action, a bunch of SKSs. You know what? I'm gonna have him decide. He's got so many guns that whenever I ask him, I'll just have him tell me what he wants me to use. So you guys stay tuned. I got some cool stuff coming up always. So there'll be some more guns coming up. So I'm gonna try to do this as a weekly thing. Moving forward, try to get a new gun video out every week. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll see y'all around. Be sure to come over here and subscribe. And of course you have to hit the little bell, otherwise we won't show up in your notifications each time we post a new video. And check us out on Facebook and give us a like. We post all of our content there as well, as long as some pictures that we take. Speaking of Instagram, you can check us out on Instagram too. We post all of our pictures, some short clips that don't end up on YouTube, along with a little bit of funny stuff, some game recipes, and we're also on Twitter. You can check us out on there, some of our posts. We keep everyone kind of in the queue along what we're on to and what we're up to and what we're doing. Along with some other posts about some other things that we like. So be sure to check us out on Patreon. We could always use the support. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up, but that stuff kind of isn't cheap, so every little bit of support helps and will help us get out some good content for everyone to see.